Hey guys, this video is going to be on family, friends, and toxic people. Um, whether we know it or not, usually before we got sick, we could handle stress, stress, fatigue, lack of sleep, colds, anger, arguments, fighting, fussing, whatever, whatnot. But once you catch Lyme, everything seems to cause anxiety and stress and just too much overload on our bodies and our mind. And toxic people are one of my number one things that we as Lyme patients or do not need. Um, whether we have to live with them or not, or have to be around them or socializing with them on a minimal basis is one thing. Hi, bye, goodbye. But having toxic people in your life do make you sicker because they make you, like, for instance, we're going to go with friends. Friends will, why haven't you come out? Why don't you go out? Why do you never call? Why do you never blah da 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 da? And you are tired of telling them, hey, I'm sick. Hey, I don't feel good. Hey, I'm having seizures, or I'm having body spasms, or I'm herxing, and I have to do what I can only do at a certain little time. It's baby steps. And they don't seem to get that in their heads because they're healthy, that this isn't a one time, hey, I don't feel good. This is a 24/7, 300 and what, 52, 64, 67 days in a year, 52 weeks job where we don't know how we're going to feel from one moment to the next. And you do not need people in your life, especially friends, that, well, that I thought you were just sick last week. Well, what's wrong with you now? Well, what's wrong with you now? Those friends are the people you do completely need to cut off. If they got to ask, what's wrong with you now, after you've told them, I have Lyme disease, I have this many co-infections, I'm fighting this, and I feel this 24/7, but yet they still go, well, what's wrong with you now? Or why now? Why can't you go now? You don't need that. Because you don't need that kind of friend. You need to have the friends that go, I'm sorry, is there anything I can do? Not for pity, not for a pat on the back, but true, legit friends that are in your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, family. As my family knows I have Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever, they do not know my co-infections yet. Now, I have chose not to let my family see what it does to me. I make sure I go nowhere until I am, 50-50 on the scale of, okay, I can take this day. But I have chose to, my family just knows what I have, but they have never seen it. They have never experienced it. And I do that to save face, because my family remembers who I was, what I could do, and what I could, I was that hyper by the seat of my pants person. And I don't want them to see who I have become now. So I have made that choice. But if you have family members in your life that seem to not, there's no such thing as chronic disease. Well, I looked up online and it's curable. Or you should only take 14 days and you should be fine. You're okay. You're just, it's all in your head. You do, whether they're your family or not, you can choose to not see them as much as you have to. The less you see them, the better. Because you don't need that toxicity in your life. Because it makes you stressed. It brings on anxiety, heart palpitations. It could cause you a relapse. And why? Because you allowed that toxicity in your life. So you just see them when minimal as possible, plain and simple. As for husbands, wives, children, we're gonna go on children. Children are gonna be children. Children are my all my kids are grown. My youngest baby's 23. My youngest stepchild is 16, and the one above him, she's 18, whatever, whatnot. Whether they choose to believe what I have or not is not my problem. If you want to believe, if you want to know what I have and what I go through, research. It really doesn't bother me about what children think. Children were going to be children. Plain and simple, have nothing against the children. As for husbands, wives, you have to live with that spouse. And that spouse either needs to be in it or out of it. Now, whether they choose to stay in, but they don't really want to, they love you, they want to stay with you, but they really don't want to be there when it all hits the fan. The best way to deal with that is when you're having your issues and your symptoms and your fallouts and relapses. And my own experience, how are you? I'm fine. Are you okay? Yes. I detach them from anything that does with my health. I detach them. I put a wall up in front of me, and I'm fine to you. Because no matter how much I say, I'm not feeling good, my head hurts, I'm feeling dizzy, I feel this, that, or the other, or I know I'm having a seizure, or I know I'm relapsing, or whatnot, it doesn't click and register in that spouse's head. It really don't. And it's not intentional that it doesn't click. It's just they're not going through it. So why would it click? Seriously, why would it click? You literally have to grab them up by the hand, him or her. Hey, this is what's going wrong. I need you here. I need you here, or get somebody here. But if anybody, husband or wife, especially husband or wife, that you have to live with and you're married to or engaged to or been in a long relationship with, when if they can turn, if it makes, when your disease, at the beginning, everything's cool and good, but you start getting sicker and you start getting sicker, and then you start hearing the remarks, well, you're not like you used to be. I miss who you used to be. You used to be bouncy and happy, and you used to love to sing, and you used to love to dance, and or whatever you used to do. They start saying, hey, you're nothing like you used to be. Well, no, I'm not. No, you're not. We are not anything like we were, especially if you're chronic. And when they start turning who you used to be and bringing that up in the picture versus who you are now, that makes a person feel ashamed. That makes the person feel guilty. That makes the person feel like they're not worthy enough to be with him or her, because they want who they married. They don't, or whoever they live with. They don't want this sick person no more. And they may not say they don't want you like you are now, but in their head they are. Otherwise they would not say, I miss the old you. You need to be accepted for who you are now, and they need to understand you can't be that person anymore. You can get glimpses of them, but you cannot ever, 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 ever be the person you were before being chronically ill. So and anybody who starts thinking it's okay to be malice and vicious with a venomous tongue, just because they can, because they go, oh wait, she or he, they have memory issues, they forget a lot, or they space out, or they have seizures. I'll say what I want because they'll probably forget. We don't forget. I don't forget. I don't forget what my spouse says to me at all. I may forget it later on, but I will not forget because I put it all in my journal. But for any spouse who can use your disabilities as far as mental forgetfulness and surges of anemia and dementia and foggy head and whatever, if they think they can get away with being malice and venomous and vicious and 1 minute nice to you and then the next day completely horrible and turn it around as if it's your fault, that's where you draw the line. And when I say draw the line, I don't mean bye, get a divorce, separate, whatnot. That's not what I mean. That's where you draw the line of, okay, my illness is going to become my illness. I am not including this toxic person to be involved in my health anymore. I will love him or her. I will respect him and her only if I'm respected. But I am not at fault for this disease. You will not, you have to stand your ground. I will not be viciously spoke to with malice and anger just because you think I'm going to forget. I know I do, but I will not forget this. So don't even think about it. It is not okay to be treated with anger just because you're getting sicker at all. I don't care if I'm on my deathbed. The last thing I want to hear from my loved ones is anger and vicious and vile words just because you think I'm going to forget. That is not going to happen. Yes, I forget a lot in my day and my weeks, but I am not going to forget being treated with such malice, especially when you know you've not done nothing wrong. You have no reason to be treated like crap just because you're sick, and they have no right to speak vicious of you and use your illness as the reason why they're doing it. No one has that right to use your illness against you. I don't use my illness against myself. I don't. And nobody has the right to use your illness against you just so they can do and say what they want. I don't feel like going out tonight. Yeah, another night, gotta sit around. I don't feel like going and visiting family. Yeah, you say that all the time. And these are examples, guys, not what legitly happened to me. I'm just giving examples because I've heard, and I talked to a lot of women's group through Lyme. And a lot of men and women lose their spouses. Not at the beginning of the treatment, because you're still quite healthy. But once it progresses, as you progress deeper in, or as you progress worse into your diseases, they progress to get meaner and more vicious and malice and vile because they don't want who you are becoming now at all. And don't ever make them feel like it's your fault. I feel guilty enough I have this disease. I feel horrible that I cannot do what I used to do with my spouse and my family and my grandchildren as it is. So I don't, and you don't need no other toxic people to make it worse because we're already depressed as it is. And my saying is, well, I'm already depressed. Why don't you just go ahead and end it for me? Because, I mean, you might as well. Because I'd rather not go ahead and just end the whole toxic thing than to keep going through this of, it's my fault why you're treating me or you're being treated this way. It's not worth it. We have to detach from all toxic people, even if we have to live in the same house with them. You draw a box around you and you keep them out of that part of your life altogether. I don't care how you do it. Toxic people make it worse. They will literally drive you sicker So it's not worth it. I personally will not tolerate being treated with malice and disrespect by nobody who is not walking in my footsteps and using my disease as the excuse for you to treat me like crap. I will not be treated like crap. You shouldn't be treated like crap just because you're sick. No matter how much they say they love you, I'd die without if I didn't have you or her. If you love that person as much as you say you do, you will not use their disease against them at all. Hit the road. They need to hit the road because it's wrong. But I won't tolerate it, and neither should you. And I am too many people on my friends that are going through divorces because the sicker they got, the worse and the more vicious their spouses or family members were to them. And to me, that's sickening. Family that's blood. That's blood. You're supposed to stick together. And then your spouses, who sickness and health, death do you part, that hardly even exists anymore in marriages, because they go until it's everything but sickness nowadays. I'll take care of you till you get really bad, and then once you get real bad, bye. And that's wrong. Either in it or out. If you got to stay around them and be a part of their life, make sure you put that shield up, because you do not need that toxicity in your life whatsoever. Ever, 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 ever. Whether you're dealing with it now and going through it now, you tell them how you feel, whether they like it or not. They either go or they stay, but if they stay, they're in it, or you put a box around you to block you from that toxicity that they put upon you. You don't need it at all. So just remember, you're either on your own through this disease with all your friends that do support you, or you are with your spouses and your family and they're in it full 100%, without doubt and without question. Do not live with toxic people in your life. Not if you can help it. Do not live with toxic people, because they are going to make you sicker. But I'm going to close this up. Hopefully you'll find a silver lining in this day, because if you don't, no one else will. Love you guys and have a great day.